Hey guys, welcome to the 5 Yard Pass. Sudi and Sham here. Big
Garner?
week for United coming in from the coming from what's an off season technically, but obviously isn't. We've got the UEFA Cup game coming up first. Sudi, couple of things. Firstly, where are you? And secondly, big news about Sancho coming in. So just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
So going back to, excuse me, I was going to move this a little bit. Um, Going back to Ireland today. As you know, I live in Cork, so spent a few months back home in Singapore, and I'm heading back to school, which starts in a few weeks. And I mean, Heathrow at the minute, and content no matter what. Try our best to.
Yeah.
But it's good though. Like I tell you what, man, the light here is great for my face, so it's way better than my room back at my
Yeah,
parents' house.
I
But yeah,
completely.
look, I'm looking forward to heading back and watching football in a proper time zone instead of waking up at 3 a.m. Yeah. Anyway, so talking about Sancho. So today's come out on SoccerNet, BBC. I think Simon Ogden's reported it, and my source I always go to is Fabrizio Romano as well. They've all said it's just in a matter of a week, basically. And I've talked about it a lot. So sum up what Jadon Sancho to you, what sort of quality he is, and what do you think he brings?
What type of player Sancho is to me?
Yeah, like
He's
personally,
he's a
how do you
he's
go
a
on? Sorry.
he's a typical United signing to me. He's exciting. He takes the game on. He's
Mm-hmm,
young, so he's quite highly developed for a guy his age. He's played in a couple of seasons in the
mm-hmm.
Bundesliga, but is
Scores
still
goals as well,
far
like
from,
not just the assists.
yeah, goals and assists.
Yeah.
Bit like Bruno. His numbers look sort of Bruno-esque, so
Mm,
that's a good thing. He's not a number 9, but he can play anywhere in the two wide positions up front. Can play a little
mm-hmm,
bit at number 10, perhaps relieve Bruno from time to time. Probably wouldn't
mm-hmm,
rely on him doing that at all,
mm-hmm,
as in like in a major way, but in a minor way. But yeah, typical United signing, young British, fits in with the club's transfer policy, but at the same time, genuine world star, genuine England international. England don't often play young players for England, and he's got
mm-hmm.
several caps, and he's 20 years old. So very, very exciting. Is it 110 million pounds they agreed on, or euros?
No, I'd say it'd be 110 million. But what I've been hearing is that it's going to be kind of a 60-50 split, just because of the times, the way the world is right now, which I don't think Dortmund's going to say no to. I don't think any other club,
Yeah.
um, even a rich club that maybe could afford it, probably doesn't need Sancho. I think United is kind of the perfect fit for that bill, Sorry, and like just for me, just on that same point, man, like unbelievable talent. Has a bit of arrogance, but like he has a bit of arrogance on the pitch, off-field humility. I think, if I'm not wrong, he's very close to as a friend wise, he's close to Rashford and Lingard, and
Mm.
that kind of core young players is coming up through England, and like kind of like the early 2000s, even though England didn't have much luck, early to like kind of 2010, I guess, for a good 10 years, United
Like the
had a good
so-called golden
core.
generation. Yeah.
Yeah, but United had a fair few contributors to that. We haven't had many people. You could say, I mean, besides Rashford, kind of that generation, Carrick was the last person.
Mm.
Actually, even Carrick didn't really start for England. What am I saying? So we haven't
Rooney's
had that
probably the
kind of.
last one, isn't it?
Sorry, it would be Rooney. So we haven't had a kind of core British players coming through to start for England, or at least in that kind of best 15 players. So it'd be nice from that front as well. Southgate's going to probably think like, if Rashford and Sancho and Greenwood are playing every week together, he has to consider them for a lineup.
And when you've got three Englishmen and you back four as well, that's potentially half an England team coming out of
Absolutely,
United.
absolutely, yeah. Maguire is going to start. If Trent, who's an unbelievable player, I'm not taking anything from him. If he goes into midfield, you can have Wan-Bissaka there. You could have Luke Shaw if he pulls his head together, has a great run of games like he did after the COVID break. So from that front, I think besides him being a great player, it's going to be good for the England national team as well.
I rate. I don't want to get too far off the topic, but yeah, Alexander Arnold. I rate him, but I don't think he's going to play right back for England. I see him even long term at Liverpool moving into midfield. But
Yeah.
obviously, even if he was to stay right back, is a top quality right. But he's kind of redefined that position. But
I don't want to that point. I think, and I don't want to talk about Liverpool at all too much. But to that point,
neither do I.
no, I didn't mean that in a malicious way. I just mean with Henderson out. I was thinking about this the other day. With Henderson being injured for like an indiscriminate amount of time, you might see Trent move into that midfield role on a trial basis, and you might see him at the start of the season going into midfield. Man, just a thought.
Yeah, it
He's
depends on who's available. If they have a good player that can put it right back, I definitely see that happening.
yeah.
And
Anyway,
that's probably a young
um,
player, but yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Anyway, speaking of young
Speaking on
players,
players, yeah.
yeah, exactly. Great transition. Accidental. So we play last tomorrow. Obviously, 5-0, 5-0 in the first leg, and I'm just going to get up some. I had just some stats here, and excuse me. So we had the savior, that is Ighalo, scoring, uh, opening the scoring with a beautiful volley. If you remember that, if people talk about volley, but that pass from Bruno Fernandes outside the foot, midair, flicks it onto Ighalo. Then we had Daniel James with
He
an
had about
Ighalo
3 or 4
assist.
touches, didn't he, before volleying it
Yeah,
as well?
because I mean, good players have more touches. Juan Mata, Greenwood, Pereira, and who would have thought at the time when Greenwood scored that goal, he'd be within the space of 3 months become one of the most important players for the team.
Yeah, he's the third top scorer for United. People forget that. Like
Absolutely,
it's
yeah,
great to
absolutely.
see him scoring goals, but in his first season where he's played a lot off the bench, to
Hmm.
be third top scorer behind his big front two, yeah, wonderful
Yeah,
season.
and just looking at that lineup as well, from from 3 months ago, I think it was March 12th. I remember watching that, because we had actually won our like the Irish FA Cup, like in the Division 3 FA Cup. So we went out to celebrate that the next day. So we watched that game to start the night, and it was just looking at the lineup. It was starting from the back, it was Romero, Shaw, Maguire, by Williams, McTominay, Fred, James, Fernandez, Mata, Ighalo, and it's such a nice feeling to say, like, that's definitely going to be that's definitely like a kind of second string side to what is a very quality first
Mm.
11 that we have now. So
It
let's just talk
shows
about.
that a lot
Sorry,
of
go on.
those guys got better, like Shaw, Maguire, Greenwood, all got
Mhm.
better post COVID because they were probably not
Absolutely.
first stringers at that time, but they're definitely first stringers now.
I mean, yeah, you could argue the only one there's Maguire, and Fernandez was just got into the team, so he was getting a run. He was getting a run of games. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, absolutely brilliant to see. So we talked about this last time. So we have what we think like 4 or 5 players to watch for this game who probably will start or come on at some point. So who are some of the players you're looking at to play tomorrow night?
Some of the names that come to mind, I don't know if they will play at all or start on the bench or start the
Mm,
game, but there's been a lot of talk around guys like Mengi, Garner, Laird, Chong.
mm-hmm,
They're the names that immediately come to mind.
mm-hmm,
I'd like to see Chong in sort of that attacking midfield position. I think that if he can put in a good performance and get some attention, I think that there's an opportunity there. If
yeah,
United think Grealish is a bit expensive, to put a bit more faith in him. Um,
mm-hmm,
Laird, if he plays well, might see in the back of the low. Anyone at centre back could be that fourth centre back in the squad. There's definitely
mm-hmm,
opportunities for those guys to really
yeah,
sort of step up.
um, yeah, and I think for me, of all those people, I actually like James Garner the most. I mean, they're all different positions. So I'm not going to say who's better or worse, but I think James Garner hasn't, fair enough with the way United is. You need to win games. We need a stretch of games. The young players will come in later. But I like
Mm.
Garner, man. He's a very calm influence. He reminds me a lot of Carrick. I think
Is
he
he's
could
playing?
be.
Tell us a bit about him as a player. Is he similar position to Carrick, or is it just
Yeah,
his?
he's exactly that kind of screen in front of the defense. He's not too aggressive. He's not too much like a Matic, but he's not too much of a Paul Scholes. Just kind of the in between, like the way Carrick was very tactically clever. So I'd like to see him play, but I don't think he will. I think we'll come to lineups in a second, I guess. But Fred and McTominay will probably get a run out over him, and I hope he does play at some stage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And it could even be. I don't quite see this happening, but you could try having Fred and McTominay as the sort of the bit two more attacking players in a 4-3-3. And perhaps have Garner in there if you felt like it. It'd be interesting to see if one of those guys could step up because they'll definitely try. And as much as you can get a number 10 in for Fernandez, there needs to be a Fred in particular or McTominay trying to cover some of those minutes that Paul Pogba would normally play in that sort of
Yep.
position.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
so whether it's Fred with his bit more direct passing or McTominay taking a bit more of an attacking role, it'd be interesting
Hmm.
to see how if those guys when they're given a bit more license to attack, how they perform.
Yeah. And what do you think? Do you think? Sorry. Do you think coming off the bench or playing in a European fixture like this, do you think is any different to a Premier League fixture for the young ones? I mean, for the likes of Laird and Mengi, or do you think it's going to be, Ollie's going to be business as usual, a game's a game kind of thing?
I think Ollie will take it. He will tell them that he'll know deep down, 5-0 up, playing at home. They are 99.99% through. So he will know that, but he won't let them know that. He will tell them there are positions up for grabs. They will know that guys like Williams and Greenwood, they all would have known at the beginning of the season would have grown. But someone like Williams coming along, a lot of the players have grown this season. So they'll know that if
Mhm.
they can catch his eye, that's going to give
Mhm.
them chances to play more games in what is going to be a condensed season coming up.
Mhm.
So it's really up to them. They've been training and working there every day to get chances like this, and they know that
Yeah.
if they do well in these, like Shaw and Matic and um, Greenwood did in the first leg, they'll know
Mhm.
that the eyes on them, and if they can show something, that they'll get more game time. That's
Yeah.
the way Ollie's playing now, as opposed to like if Mourinho, for example, was managing the team. If Mourinho was
Mhm.
there, you might be a bit more like, oh, I'm just, I'm a human witch's hat, just playing a game and playing some minutes. But with
Mm.
Ollie, I think he's shown that he'll play the youth. So I think that those guys will have a bit more incentive and feel like they're getting opportunities as opposed to being given minutes.
I think the common misconception with Ollie, especially with not with United fans, I think generally United fans know, but I think with opposing fans, especially in the Premier League, they don't see him as this ruthless character when he actually is.
Mm,
I kind of make that analogy with the way he was in finishing. Apparently, like, if you read, I think it was again, I think it was Roy Keane's book when he said Ollie would score a goal in training or in a game, and he'd come up disappointed because he'd want to put it in the top corner, but he'd go in the bottom corner, and he wouldn't be satisfied with scoring the goal. It'd have to be exactly the way that he wanted it. So I think that's kind of transferred to him as a manager. Plus, you have that Sir Alex influence. I think,
he
um,
he was known as the baby-faced assassin, and I think
yeah, yeah,
people outside the club still misread him on that. You know,
yeah.
they see him
I
as
think
his
it's
yeah,
great. Yeah,
which is great. I hope they keep
yeah, yeah,
misreading him.
yeah. Um, but I think people looked at babyface rather than the assassin, more the babyface than the assassin.
Yeah,
Um, so,
and that's hence
yeah,
the PE teacher and all that sort of thing. That was an appalling call, but I think it was
yeah,
Arsenal fans. I don't know. I don't care. It
yeah.
was an appalling
Fair
call.
play. They've won a trophy, so they've got a bit of credit in the bank. Which, yeah, it was. They played quite well, to be fair.
Again, half of Chelsea's team got hamstring injuries, which didn't help. But
Yeah,
before
yeah,
the
yeah.
game,
Which,
during the game, Kante was on the bench. But yeah, they won the FA Cup, and yeah, you can't win
yeah,
competitions like that without playing well.
yeah.
And they beat City and Chelsea, so well done to them. But they also finished 8th in the league and barely made it to Europe. So
Do you think there's
they got to
any
hold their tongues a bit.
Do you think there's any benefit to playing any of the stars on Thursday, or do you think 2 weeks rest would be good for all? Like, I'm talking about the main 12, 13, 15
Yeah, when you
players.
talk about those main guys who've done the workload, I don't see any reason for them to be playing this game. I think they need the break. Um, Ollie might want a couple on the bench for security, but I really don't
Mm,
see the benefit of playing. I don't think any of them will get anything out of that game. I think it's better
hmm
to rest them.
Yeah, the only one I would have played, um, if he wasn't injured, would be Shaw. Shaw, we've said before, Shaw is that kind of guy. He
Mm,
needs continuous games. He needs to play at least 4 out of every 5 games. But he's still injured, so we still have Shaw, Tuanzebe, and Phil Jones. I mean, Tuanzebe would have played this game. He's such a good player. It's just so unfortunate this season. But so yeah, sorry, Shaw, Tuanzebe, Fosu Mensah, and Phil Jones are injured. So
I like to see Fosu Mensah in this game and see how he goes because,
he's injured
uh,
though.
yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
unfortunate. Let me just double check that. Actually, I was looking at the team news on the United website. Oh no, no, he's not injured. He's not injured. He's back. So is Eric Bailly. No, he's fine. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, Fosu Mensah would be a good one, if not Ethan Laird to play in that role.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
So
guys like Brandon Williams and McTominay and Fred will get game time. It would just be remains to see. Yeah, who else is playing? Guys like Ighalo, guys like James will be expected to play this game. Romero, so
hmm
probably them with the
hmm
youngsters. It'll be
yeah,
interesting to see if guys like Jones and Smalling and some of that Deadwood in the squad if they get game time. What
yeah.
happens in Pereira? Guys like that. What that might be a bit of an indicator to their future.
I'd like to see Juan Mata get a kind of string of games to finish off, because he definitely will. He's not Deadwood for personality. Everyone knows him as the nicest guy in football. He has that common goal, charity, and all that kind of stuff. But he obviously will leave age, and he just doesn't fit in. But I'd like to see him get a run of games and win the cup to kind of finish off. 4 or 5 trophies in 6 years is not the worst
Yeah,
return for a 30 million player.
And at his best, he was a really, really good player. He's just come off the
Yeah,
boil a bit, and a little
yeah,
bit at that level is a lot. So, um,
yeah.
if he somehow found his best, imagine if he played
Hmm.
and got on a great run, he'd be a great backup option to Fernandez with a view to getting a replacement for him in a year. Because Marta will
Hmm.
go this season or next season when his contract expires.
Sorry, just gonna pause that. So coming back to Mata, look, I just hope he gets a string of games, gets a medal to finish off what's been a decent career in the period that United's in. He's been there, he tries his best. That's all you can say. He
Yeah,
never lack his effort, never lack
he
of
gave
effort.
everything for the club. He
Yeah,
did his best. He was good with touches of greatness there.
yeah, yeah. I mean, he still has the first touch of the gods. Him and Berbatov, that kind of
Yeah.
what do they call it? Shoes like Velcro. All right, coming to lineup, some predictions. So let's go into depth a bit into the lineup. So who do you think our starting 11 would be?
I do see them going 4-2-3-1.
Mm-hmm.
Romero in goals.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ethan Laird's going to get a game on the right.
Mm-hmm.
Fosu Mensah could potentially get one on the left. I think Bailly will get a game as well.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see Mengi get a game at centre back. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put him in just in the hope that he gets it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that three in the midfield. I see Fred McTominay getting a game in midfield.
Mm-hmm.
The number 10 position is probably the one with the biggest question mark over it.
Yeah, who's going to
Uh,
play that? Yeah.
yeah, Lingard or Pereira. I can't make my mind up on that. And I think
Mm-hmm.
Marta will probably. I think what might happen is they might have they'll have a mixture of Chong and Marta and Ighalo
Mm-hmm.
at those front three positions. Maybe Dan James in there somewhere as well. But it'll be interesting
Mm-hmm.
to see if they play James or they play Marta. They may decide James needs a rest and comes off the bench as well because he has played a few minutes. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's probably it's my 12. But I can't really see
Yeah.
Lingard and Pereira. Depends on
Yeah.
how he's feeling.
Yeah. No,
Probably
I'm going to
Lingard
go
if I
with.
had to pick one. Yeah.
I'm going to go for a bit of a different lineup to you. I mean, Romero will start. That's pretty obvious. I think he's going to play Dalla tomorrow. I think Dalla's on his kind of last few chances. Probably go to Spurs in the end. Mourinho loves him, but he could change his fate. I don't think he wants to go. I think Delo on the right. Not by. Excuse me. Maguire and Mengi in the middle, and I think Williams will play on the left. McTominay, Fred, and again that number 10. I think Juan Mata will probably play there. I don't think you will see many youngsters tomorrow, um,
See
and
what tomorrow,
enough
sorry?
many youngsters. I think
Many
Chong will be
youngsters.
the only youngster who will start. Sorry, and I think Chong. Who did I have here? My notes: Chong, Ighalo, and Lingard will probably be up top.
Mm.
Or or Lingard, Ighalo, James. I think Chong or James could
You
be
think guys like
swapped out.
Chong and Mengi and Laird are going to be more bench
Eh,
options?
and yeah, and you have to take into account as well. Don't just take into account that we're up 5-0. They haven't played since March. Their last game was against us. Their last game, full stop, as a club.
Yeah.
So it does. I mean, yeah, it's highly unlikely that anything's going to happen out of this game. I don't. I just think they're going to get they're going to get kind of the main 18 to 22 players, a subsect of those to play this game as a friendly match, as a kind of get the legs warm. So you'll see that second string of players, but I don't think you'll see many youth players starting. Probably come on. I like to see Dylan Levitt as well come on. But yeah, won't be much different. And scores, what do you think? Not that it matters too much.
Yeah, I think I do think LASK have a goal in them, but I think it'll be 2-1 or 3-1. I'm going to go 3-1 because it's at Old Trafford and LASK going to have much to play for. I'm going to go
Hmm.
3-1
Hmm.
United.
Yeah, I was going to go 3-0. The Gala hat trick. Still holding out for that.
3 goals, 3
um,
assists for Igala.
yeah. There's actually a little bit just to we'll just divert a little bit. There's actually in the paper. Did we talk about this last time about Callum Hudson-Odoi potentially coming over as well?
We did.
I can't remember if we talked about it. It was with you, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it might have been in off video or one other
Oh
video that
right,
did
yeah.
come through.
Potentially
But
off video. Yeah.
yeah, interesting because he's an England international. He's a wide player.
Yeah.
He's fallen a bit out of favour with Chelsea, who bought a whole bunch of attacking players. There's even
Yeah.
talk of Tammy Abraham being moved on. So don't know where Hudson Odoi
Yeah,
fits
that's
into
right.
the
We said
hierarchy.
we were talking about
Yeah,
Tammy Abraham as well. I wouldn't say no, but there's. I think people. I think when I was younger as well, I used to kind of equate value to talent. you get Paul Pogba in for 100 million, you're getting $100 million of talent. You're not actually getting that. Obviously, you're getting a whole package, a whole business package almost. And I think that's the only difference, because I wouldn't see much. There's not much difference between a Sancho and let's say that Ajax. Who's the guy from Ajax that Chelsea bought? I'm talking Ziyech or something. Ziyech or even a Mane. There wouldn't be much difference between them, but it's that kind of marketing, the whole business prospect that comes with. So, and unfortunately, United are in a position that they have to buy. They have a fan base that means they have to buy someone big nearly every summer. So yeah, I just something I was thinking about. But I do hope we get Sancho, and I hope we clear it up in the next week. I hope we clear up any other transfer by the end of August, and just focus, not the end of August, sorry, by mid-August, and just focus on preparations for the league and finishing off the Europa as well. And also, in saying that, by getting these players coming in, you're going to get the likes of Greenwood, who plays in Sancho's position, playing better, probably. If he's a good player, he plays better. Who else? Grealish. You're going to have our midfielders and Rashford all playing better, just because they know some people coming for their spot.
Look, man, I don't care if Martial's 50 million quid and Santos 100 million quid and Rashford and Greenwood are free transfers. The cream always rises to the top. So
absolutely, yeah. And to what I'm saying as well, if they're mentally strong players, if they're good players, they will step up. And you have two players in that position who could score 20 goals each. It's all good problems to have.
Yeah, rather that problem than the other way around. Absolutely,
yeah. Anyway, on that note, can take us out.
Yeah, thanks guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and keep passing.